I'm Eric Russell, and I am out and about today at Q94 with Jackson.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Well, thank you for being here with us and having us here at Q94.
Yeah, a newly painted studio.
It's the first time I've ever seen it going, wow, this is what it looks like.
And the inside.
And the inside, you have this picture in your head going, I wonder what a radio station looks like locally.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So you're not originally from Virginia.
Nope.
You're originally from way up north in Providence, Rhode Island area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the mafia, the Italian mafia is up there. At least that's what most people think. So.
That's cool. How did you get involved in radio?
When I was in high school, a funny story. I was actually infatuated with this girl, beautiful girl, and it was my senior year, and I had just come out. And it was, I was gaining kind of momentum with the cool crowd, and I wanted to kind of hang out with her because she was the first person to reach out and kind of part of the cool crew that reached out to me and was like, you should totally come and hang out and da-da-da. So I was trying to figure out ways that I could follow her, like in her steps, to be a cool kid. And she was interning at a local radio station, and I thought, I want to do that. That sounds like fun. And when I started doing the internship, I actually enjoyed almost every aspect that I was doing, and I was intrigued by it. And so I just kept on going, and like 2 months into my internship, the program director who's in charge, he goes, would you be interested in doing promotions and board work? And I said, absolutely. And I ended up, 3 months into my internship getting a job part-time in promotions. Well, I was more obviously interested in, the stardom factor of it. And so I was like, I want to be in the studio with all these famous people that I heard growing up. And, I started pressing buttons and started doing stuff for free in the overnights, pressing buttons. This is when radio was live 24/7. And, pressing buttons, and just worked my way up. And I found myself about 6 or 7 months into it being on the air on the weekends. And then a year later, I was the night jock. For about 2.5 years I did that, so it just grew from there. And I moved to Denver, and I moved to Tulsa, New York, obviously back to Providence, and then here to Richmond, Virginia for radio.
Now, Q94 in this station is the oldest radio station of the country, is that correct?
It will be 40 years old next year in 2012. It's the longest running top 40 station.
Okay.
Other stations in the country have changed formats into country or something like that, but this station started as a top 40 and has maintained the format of top 40 for 40 consecutive years.
Now, I know I've grown up with Q94 since I moved here in 1983, 84.
Wasn't born yet.
Okay, thanks. Yes,
No problem.
yes. If you can do the math from when I just said that was to today, okay. I grew up on the Q94 Zoo Crew in the morning with Betty Bodine, and then there was Kirby Carmichael in the evenings, and Billy Surf again in the afternoons. What's it kind of like following in legacies and people that were just part of this region, this area for so long, and coming into this?
Well, I did my research on this station and just, like you said, the legacy that the station carries, and I was a little overwhelmed because a station like this that does have the legacy and does have the people's ear for so long kind of intimidates you because you are automatically kind of put on this, you better uphold the Q94 feel. And I love Q94 and I love what it stands for because I am what it stands for, the fun, the people, the understanding of the community. So, reading was a little intimidating, and then actually coming in and meeting some of those people, like I've met Billy Surf and a few others, and they're actually, they're welcoming of me, and they're excited to see that there is a legacy that's going to maintain and be upheld by someone who actually respects it. A lot of jocks, like young jocks like myself, come in and they just think that they're going to change everything and rule everything, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about upholding the legacy and continuing on doing what people love to hear.
You're one of the few out jocks for radio in the United States.
Yes.
What's that like?
I think a lot of jocks that have been on the air for years, it's not relevant to their listening audience, whether they're gay or straight or not. But I think it's important for me to speak out and be myself. Not saying that these other jocks aren't being themselves, but I think that allowing people to see into the real me not only will help me build a relationship with my listeners, but it'll also allow me to just continue to grow as a person as well. So I'm excited because I'm allowed that here, and it's welcomed. I mean, a lot of people there's obviously still it's still that, what am I trying to say? There's still people that obviously kind of bash and whatnot.
Right.
But those people find that when they see someone in the spotlight that it becomes a little bit more acceptable. And I am excited that I was allowed, to kind of be out on the air. It was obviously talked about before I came down here. Right. And so I just want to be myself, and I love doing this. I've been in radio for almost 10 years now, so I have grown into myself and want to continue to do so. And I think people appreciate truth and honesty above all. So.
What would you say to youth today that are struggling, or they're looking for a role model, or they're just going, I don't think I could do that job because I'm gay or whatever? What would you say to them?
I've taken a lot of risks. I've moved from my comfort zone several times, and I think that it's important that you think about what makes you happy and excited over what could take you back. My drawback moving to all these places is financial stability. But I didn't think about that. I thought about the fun and the growth that could happen within, and I just did it. I didn't think about it twice. If it's an opportunity that looks and sounds amazing, most likely it is, and if it isn't, well, I took the risk. And you really can't gain anything from sitting at home. You've got to take the risk, and even if it's just, moving away from your home city for, a semester or a year or whatever it is, it's really important that you do that and get out and see a little bit more of the world. Take the risk, because then you know what you're capable of, and you can take another risk. And that's really what growing is all about, is just taking the risks in front of you. So.
Have you had a favorite on-air radio moment or event that you've done, you're going, oh, this is what makes the job so much fun?
Yeah, I actually used to do a show in Connecticut on Saturday nights with one of my mentors. He would take me to do the show, and it was actually a 70s and 80s show, so it was totally out of my element because I didn't know any of the artists. But we did the show together on a Saturday night, and it sounded like a party, and we played a lot of good stuff. And it was kind of traditional that we would drive and we'd pass a Krispy Kreme and we'd get like a dozen Krispy Kremes, so we were on a sugar high the whole night, and we would do the show back and forth, and this jock, we were just bantering back and forth about a song that I didn't know, and I was making fun of him because he was dancing in the studio in his chair to it, and all of a sudden you just see him go flat on the floor because the chair breaks, and all you heard was laughter, and that's live radio, and people can kind of absorb that and go, oh, they're having a good time in there, and that's really what radio is all about, is making sure that the people who are listening enjoy what they're listening to, but that we enjoy what we're doing. And I think it kind of, when someone smiles on the air, you hear it. You can tell when someone's smiling. So I try to portray that to this day, and that's kind of what makes radio fun for me, is I'm allowed to smile doing what I do. So.
Excellent. Now, the show that you host every day is the free ride at 5.
The 5 o'clock free ride.
Yeah. Something with an F and a 5.
Some people in the community call it the free lay at 5 or something like that. But it's commercial free for a whole hour at 5 o'clock. When you're driving home, it's perfect because we don't play commercials. We just play your favorite music.
It's great when you're sitting there with those solos going, and
moving.
And this is the easy pass. Like, wow. And moving.
And then we have a pick of the day where we play the most most recent release, and usually it's a song that's pretty relevant that people are buzzing about anyway. So we play that usually in that hour as well.
What's been the most popular, the ones you're playing the most right now?
Most popular, let's see. A lot of people are loving, the Keshas and the Britneys. Britney and Nicki are going on tour, so they have a song that I've been getting a lot of calls about that they did a remix to. So, obviously the Britneys and the Keshas are getting the most love. We are getting a lot of calls for the new Beyonce song, which I think this summer will take people to a new level. The Beyonce lovers will love it. It's no single ladies.
I just learned that whole dance.
I gotta learn a new one.
This has been absolutely fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me in here today.
That's what I'm all about.
Now, if people want to get a hold of Jackson, how can they do that?
Well, I have a Twitter. It's at Q94Jackson. I also have an email, Jackson@Q94Radio. And on Facebook, you can look me up, Jackson on Q94.
And we can hear you every day at 5 o'clock.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Thank you so much. I love this.
I love it too.
Well, this has been Out and About at Q94 with Jackson.
Yep.
Well, you never know. Well, I'll turn up next, so check in next time. See ya.